I had always wanted to receive a Fulbright Award, and this Fulbright here to Glasgow was my #1 choice. Fulbright is that award that any educator, any student wants to receive. I would say this is the Rolls Royce of professional development. I don't think there's a higher accolade that a researcher or a teacher or a student could receive. It puts you on a different path as an educator, as a student, as a researcher. And it's probably one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had. I have loved every moment of being here at the University of Glasgow, and I have loved being here in Scotland. During the COVID shutdown, the state adult education program requested that I create a virtual classroom, and it was a virtual classroom on civic engagement. And what we looked at was civic engagement of ordinary citizens to change their lives in a positive way. So they engaged in direct action. They engaged in nonviolent protest and resistance, but from a nonviolent standpoint. And they changed their position socially, from a community standpoint, from an economic standpoint, from an educational standpoint. And it was ordinary citizens. It wasn't political icons or cultural icons. In showing them that ordinary citizens could change their lives, these students began to activate their own agency and began to activate and advocate for themselves during the COVID shutdown. Many of them had absentee landlords, so they found out who they could write to in their local communities about their housing conditions and during the COVID shutdown. They couldn't get essential services because a lot of essential workers couldn't work. So they figured out who to contact in terms of their governmental entities to make sure that their services were provided. So they began to change their lives through learning about the civic engagement of historical actors before them who were not icons, just ordinary people. And it empowered them. So I decided, why not write a proposal to Fulbright about looking at how parents and other individuals using civic engagement and empowerment can change the lives of not only themselves, but their children, not just where I live, but globally.